What's up, YouTube? How's it going? Oh yeah, or, this pipe right here, straight billiard, was the first pipe I ever bought. First pipe I ever smoked. I got it from the Tobacco Corner in Memphis, Tennessee. Tobacco Corner is no longer with us, but it was also, ironically, the store that the Reeves, who would go on to create a little shop called the Country Squire, went to and trained under to learn how to open up a tobacconist. I think that's pretty cool. What's up, guys? Hope y'all are having a wonderful evening. A little chilly here in Houston, Texas, but not too chilly. But fortunately, chilly enough to get the old fire pit going. Smoking some Frogmorton Cellar, so you know it's a special occasion. Out of a very intentional pipe, with my first ever pipe. And let's see here. Busting some of my Blantons. Admittedly, Blantons and Cellar are not the best pairing. But you know, sometimes you get all your favorites and your high end together, but just because they're your favorites, it doesn't mean they play well together. There we go. So let me go ahead and get this out of the way for those that don't know. We announced earlier this week on Wednesday, we just released our episode 490 of the Country Squire Radio podcast. Now, if that's a surprise to some of y'all, because y'all haven't heard from us in a while, we do a podcast. We do a weekly podcast. It's available on iTunes, Spotify, and otherwise. If you go to countrysquireradio.com, you can find the subscription links to it and all that kind of good stuff. We announced this week on our 490th episode that the forthcoming 500th episode will, in fact, be the last one for Country Squire Radio. And this will conclude what has been a 10-year run of the Country Squire Radio podcast. I know a lot of y'all, especially here on YouTube, you may have seen some of our old videos that we very much enjoyed doing. That came to an end when I moved to Houston and that sort of thing. But the podcast has still been going strong ever since, and we've enjoyed putting them out there. So we announced this. There's a reason why we did this 10 weeks in advance, is we wanted to give people enough of a heads up that this is something that's coming. Felt like 10 weeks, 3 months. It's a pretty good number to kind of give folks a heads up. And come on out. And so that's been the big announcement. Now, this is the other big announcement that comes along with that, is that on March 4th, we've decided that is when we're going to record our final episodes of Country Squire Radio. They won't release on March 4th, but we're going to record them live from the Country Squire in Jackson, Mississippi. We'll be doing a live pipe tobacco and barbecue pairing, which will be a lot of fun, and telling old stories, having some good food with some friends. It's going to be great. And we want to encourage those of y'all who are able to make it down to Jackson March 4th to please do so. We've got tickets on sale for the event available at thecountrysquireonline.com. You'll find a link there that'll take you right to the whole ticket page, and we'll have all that good information there for you. So we would love to have some of y'all with us if you're able to join us. And that's the big news. We go into some more detail on the actual podcast itself as to why we've chosen 500, why this is the moment we feel is about right. One of the things that we're very proud of is that all of the content that we've created, most of the content that we've created has been very much evergreen. So it doesn't matter if you're picking up the podcast for the first time right now, or if if you listened live with us. Ideally, all of that information remains absolutely, let's not say accurate. Let's say relevant. right? It remains absolutely relevant. And so you're able to enjoy it. There's a couple of, breaking news type stories that we've done over the years that are in there, but for the most part, it's just good conversation, good discussion, some best practices, a little bit of history here and there, and the occasional fun, crazy episode that might seem a little off the wall, but really kind of gave us fuel to the passion that we were enjoying. So I wanted to kind of share that with y'all here on YouTube, in case you missed it on the podcast episode. Let you know that while the podcast is going away, I am going to still maintain the YouTube channel, probably to the same cadence that I've carried it on over the past few years, where, if it's a good night and I'm out here with my pipe and I've, not reading or doing something else, then I'll hop on here, say hey, and see what's going on. Also, should the occasional gift package from the Country Squire from y'all kind of come through, I'll do my best to open that on the live videos as well, because I really enjoy doing that. So yeah, let's see. Marcelo, thank you so much. Appreciate you for tuning in. Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because what ends up happening is based on the way my phone works. Marcelo mentions enjoying kind of the lighting of the pipe on the camera here. Yeah. So when it goes out, I got to still hold my phone while lighting, and as you see, I've got this giant Bic lighter. To say it's not ideal is, well, it's not ideal. I always feel like Popeye because I kind of eyeball it, right? Hang on. Ooh. Oh, the ember went out. Yeah. Having some trouble keeping it lit tonight. I don't know what's up. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Keith saying it's snowing where he's at. Well, it's not snowing here, but it is. It's chilly enough to light up a fire, and that's kind of the ideal. Zach, hey to you, brother. Thanks so much for tuning in. B. Anson said you guys will be missed for sure. B, thank you so much. Yeah, it's a heavy decision. It's one that we've it was not made easy, and we knew that it was going to impact people. We've already started getting a lot of different emails and a lot of different emotional responses, and certainly some that have hit us very deeply. And so thank you for that. I think in many respects, we're going to miss being able to hang out with all of y'all on a weekly basis as well. Even though, for us, we do it kind of over a month. I think there's still that cadence. There's kind of that communication, the conversation that goes on that weekly, and that's going to be something we're going to miss as well. Much love to you too, Mark. Thanks so much for that. Yes, sir. Glad that you will be there. Very much looking forward to seeing you in Jackson. And Mark, something. Man, I am having a hard time with this tonight. Something I'm really much looking forward to for you and for others as well is that people have listened to us talk about some different folks, Eric, Mark, various members of the pipe community, but then also the Country Squire radio listeners. And one of the things I think I am most looking forward to on March 4th is a lot of folks that we get a chance to interact with and see y'all's names and everything else, get a chance to meet y'all, but y'all get a chance to meet each other. Because to us, we're all kind of part of this, we're kind of the central portion of this amoeba, right? And we've got all y'all that are out there. And now this is a chance for y'all to kind of connect and for us to kind of see a lot of these individuals that we've communicated with, yes, to connect with you, but we can't wait to see y'all connect with each other. I think that's going to be a big trip for us. We're really looking forward to that. Brett, it's right now, Country Squire Radio will be missed. You and John David have been a highlight to me each week for 10 years. Brett, man, thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate you as well. And yeah, man, 10 years. If that is accurate, if you have in fact been with us for 10 years, I am so very sorry. Let me just go ahead and just say right now, those early episodes. I will mention this. We did do a Zoom call with a few kind of select individuals that we've worked with over the years, and we felt that we really wanted to make sure to kind of give them a heads up. We gave them a heads up a few days before the episode went live, and it was interesting because part of that call came through, and a question was asked about the first 100 episodes of Country Squire Radio, if those will ever be made public to non-club members. Well, I guess they were technically asking for about club members, which our goal is to keep that still exclusive to the club members, but probably won't see the light of day, at least not in their entirety, outside of the club members, just because just how rough those episodes were. And so the question of as to, why wouldn't we make those public? And it's like, well, our own embarrassment would probably be a big reason as to why. So thank you for rocking with us for 10 years. Is the Pipe Club still going to be around? Keith, what a great question. So will the way in which we handle the Patreon will kind of, it's going to relate directly to those first 100 episodes in terms of how much we need the back end for that to support those first 100 episodes and kind of keep those available for club members. There are some other areas, like, for example, the Facebook page or the Facebook group and that sort of thing, where we're still kind of talking about the best way moving forward with that. But suffice to say, after episode 500, we won't be taking any new club members. In fact, yeah. So, the club members are still helping to make this show happen and will continue to do so through the remainder of the series, helping us get those last 10 episodes. We encouraged folks this last past week, if you wanted to be a club member, then this is your last chance to do so, and we definitely appreciate those that are doing it. But what it looks like post 500, not quite sure yet, and those are some of the details that we're still refining out. But suffice to say, there won't be like an opening for new club membership after 500. That I'm 100% sure of. So, great question. Y'all, thank y'all so much. I know I put it out a little bit earlier that I'd be hopping on for a little bit of time to enjoy a little bit of a pipe. I was going to have some of the chocolate with it. I think I'm actually going to save that to enjoy with my wife a little bit later. But we'll be enjoying some of that here. But I wanted to kind of give a chance to let y'all know, give y'all a heads up on what's going on. And yeah, I'm sure that most of y'all probably already know from either the podcast or I've seen it kind of making its rounds on some of the forums and that sort of thing. It's been very interesting. At some point, maybe in the coming weeks, I might hop on and kind of process some of those things and just kind of seeing people as our it's an interesting thing to bring something to a close and watch as folks kind of discuss what the legacy of a decade's worth of work is. I want to say this, and I mean this. It's been very encouraging to see everyone, including folks that didn't fully agree with some of the decisions we've made over the years, especially in the recent years, still being very respectful in processing that legacy. It's one of the reasons why John David and I are handling things the way we are. If you're listeners of our show, we believe in finishing strong, and the way in which you shepherd that legacy in the final days is critical. That's something that's very near and dear to us, and we want to try to do the best that we can with it. You must have spilled your drink. No, man, I didn't. I did spill my drink again. That's hilarious. That's a throwback, actually. See, it's here. It's Blanton's. I'm not spilling my Blanton's. That's hilarious. We've been talking about, I should mention this too. We've been talking about how we're going to do like some bits, some ideas for the live show, for the 500th episode. I know there's a lot of desire, by the way, for some of y'all that can't be there, that you want us to stream it. And we've made the decision to not stream it. There's a couple of reasons for that. Not the least of which is we really want to be very live and also very relaxed, and we want to give our audience kind of a relaxed a room and space as well. And when you're live streaming, you have to be a little bit more cognizant of the fact that you're live streaming. Now, I have a feeling there's going to be folks in the audience that'll probably, bust out their phones, record things, and live stream things and all that kind of good stuff. So, that's perfectly fine if they decide to do it. But in terms of from an official channel, that's not necessarily something that we'll be doing for this, because we want to be able to be a little looser, open the space to be able to have some fun and just kind of see what happens. But there's some things we've been talking about, and I'd actually love to get some of y'all's thoughts on what would be appropriate for the final episode. But Ron, I think I think I might have to spill something. That's a really that, thank you for that. I'd forgotten about my ability to. And you got to understand, like we had a lot of stuff on that table, but yeah, there's several whiskey sacrifices were made to bring you Country Squire Radio over YouTube. That is very sure, very true. Um, let's see. Portland saying, in case you like the tingle on the front. You know what's wild? That meme, the tingle on the front. It's so old, I don't even remember the specific reference of where it came from. We might need to do a little archaeological digging to here just to figure out some of this stuff. That's hilarious. Oh man, we're gonna have some fun, y'all. We're gonna celebrate. It's gonna be a good one. We're gonna close out the show right. But hey, over the next couple of weeks, we've got some great episodes coming your way. There is a an unintentional three-part trilogy of episodes that really talk about the pipe and meta narrative to some extent. It's imperfect because it was an unintentional trilogy, but it involves kind of the pipe as it like shows up in modern media and why it's important that we shepherd that, and why it's important for us to create content, and not create content, but like, not because I'm not talking about like YouTubers, and which is also really great, and I'm not talking about Instagrammers, which are also really great. I'm talking about like people who structure narrative, people who write stories, that sort of thing. The way the pipe shows up in that has always been important, and it's kind of starting to disappear. And so we talk a little bit about that. We also talk about, in part of that conversation, there's a from the library that goes into what does integrity mean, and it kind of sets up some things as it relates to that conversation, and then it closes out with a look at the Inklings. And if you're not familiar with the Inklings, Google it. That is an episode that was really, really fun to put together, and kind of closes out looking at the pipe, meta narrative, what it represents, the folks around it, that sort of thing. And I hope it's really good. Like I said, it's kind of an unintentional trilogy, and really so in spirit more than anything else. Kind of in the way that like, didn't Will Ferrell have like a trilogy of movies that they weren't connected, but they were all him being ridiculous? I don't know. Anyway, y'all, let's see. As all good things, it came from Esquire Select, but it was the after show. I'm sure it was. Oh, was it right? Okay, that's great. That's great. Early Squire Select after shows. I'm assuming that means there's not a clip of it. I hope. Maybe there is. I don't know. Anyway, that's hilarious, y'all. Have a great night. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me for a little bit here. Frogmorton Cellar and Blanton's. I don't recommend the pairing. I recommend each individually, but not together. So, anyway, I'll talk to y'all soon. Thank y'all so much.